All right. We are here. What's up, James?
How's it going?
Here with
How's
James Weston. I don't know how many people watching this know you.
Probably a couple locals.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know my demographic, which sounds terrible. But, like, I don't know who's watching this or listening to this or anything.
Maybe it's like just Pittsburgh and Binghamton, or maybe it's like a weird place we don't even know.
Yeah, it might just be like the middle of nowhere watches this, and because
Some beans.
I know that a lot of like my local dudes here don't.
They don't watch it at all.
I don't think so. Maybe the one they were on, if they were on one.
You gotta hit like, share, comment, like, get them on that.
Yeah. Subscribe, like, comment.
Please subscribe, please.
See that big subscribe button? Go click that right now.
Hit that big thumbs up.
Hit the thumbs down. I don't really care. Just give me some sort of feedback.
You need like that on cue ad. You just point up and it's like, click the ad above me now.
Yeah, I don't participate in any of that. I have pretty low budget here.
Lots of tags too, you know.
Yeah, all the tags.
I know about the tags.
You probably know more than I do about the
For
tags.
AIDS, you know.
You probably know more about me than more about that than I do, for sure. Just because of your job.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
I'm getting like a little bit of laggy video from you, but not horrible.
Okay, I don't know what I can do to.
I don't think there's probably anything you can do to improve it.
We just make it real like sketchy, you know.
The important part to me is that the audio comes through, because I know that most people listen, they don't watch.
Well, that's true.
So
Yeah, it's not really like a video that you want to watch just some talking.
it's probably pretty boring, realistically.
Could be interesting if these dogs get in there.
Like, oh no, James just got mauled by his dog.
Yeah, that could happen.
But no, I mean, you and I have known each other for a long time, so.
I think I met you in probably like 2004, 3.
2004 was where I was gonna say, somewhere in that time frame.
Yeah.
Would have probably been HCS
I would guess HCS.
or the Owego Park.
I saw you riding the street one time in Vestal.
Yeah, maybe.
I think you and Wally were over by like Weiss or something.
Yeah.
But remember, you always had the helmet and you had the night train. I think you had a night train.
I did have a night train. I'm trying to think when, because I think I bought it in 2001. So I probably rode it through about 2003 or 2004.
What color was that thing?
Raw.
Yeah, that's the one.
So is that like weird brown tone?
And you had like did you used to wear a green helmet all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my visual. Shin guards and raw.
Shin guards on the outside of my pants.
Then like one time you took me to those trails by your house.
Yeah.
That was just like a whole other level of get to know you.
Those trails, I love those trails, but they weren't good.
Oh, they were pretty bad.
They were just different. But it's also, it's an area that doesn't flood.
That's true. That's probably why the dirt wasn't too good. Right?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
No, it was like rocky.
Like, being able to do anything there was kind of a wonder. But
They were there and they were running. You could kind of jump stuff.
it was behind my grandma's house. And
Yeah.
I could ride them whenever and work there. What's that?
We definitely went swimming or something.
Yeah, probably every time we rode there.
All right.
That was about the reason to ride there, was because you could alternate it with swimming.
Yep, we went swimming. That was like before, and then we started going to Woodward, I think, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if this all stemmed from Ace BMX or if it was
I think I don't think so. I'm pretty sure we were friends before you started working at that place.
That place was something else.
Oh, we can talk about that place as much as you want to talk about that place.
What story you want?
Well, like,
that was a great guy, but it's just funny, You gotta.
Joe's cool.
Yeah.
Jay is a different animal.
Oh yeah, and that was the thing. I think Ace got moved into BC, and I don't think Jay really liked that. So
yeah,
and we were kind of part of that whole scene,
Yeah. I mean, this conversation parallels like so many different friends of mine throughout the years. Like, Justin Reynolds worked there for a while.
Oh yeah.
And every time someone would go in that store that knew Justin, it was like an instant crackdown. Like, you are here only if you are buying something, otherwise get out now.
Yeah, no soliciting, whatever that's planning to have up.
And
I'm by during the day.
You then Joby worked there for a little while, but he was never like that heavily involved.
I worked with Joby and I worked with Opie too.
Yep, yeah. Opie was there for a while.
I was there. I think there's some random people.
Who was? There was a Tony at one point, I think, that worked there for like a brief period in time.
Tony. Who's
Tony Spencer. He was a racer dude.
I don't even know who that guy is. I remember meeting all the racers though, like Richie and Nick.
Okay.
All the guys through there.
Yeah.
Never met them.
There was obviously Cameron.
Oh yeah, Cameron.
But I feel like there was someone that was there between you and Cameron. That was there for a while. Was it just Opie, maybe?
If he put somebody in there, I think he had a bunch of like different kids in there for a while.
Yeah.
Too. I know Opie took it over, but sorry, I got a dog tail.
It's okay. Yeah, but it was always just like, if you made it in there at the right time, you could hang out and chat, and it could be a bike shop like most people anticipate.
Yeah.
But if you went in there whenever Jay was around, it was like he would just pace behind you around the store and then ask you if you wanted to buy everything that he had.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was definitely how it always would be.
And it would be like, hey, I really need like a new tire and maybe a new set of cranks. And he'd be like, you want a new bike? You want a whole new bike? And like, no, definitely don't. But that was every time. But that dude hated me. I mean, there were many generations of shop employees that he hated me through.
Yeah, I think he didn't like anybody.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think he told Cameron the only reason he had that place still was because he needed it as an office for his like real estate stuff.
Yeah.
And he already owned the building.
Well, I think for Jay it was not really the bike. I don't know. I don't think he was like a bike enthusiast, let's say.
No, he probably started it for his son and then got suckered into running that shop.
For a long time.
Yeah. Real long time.
Is it still there? I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. The crazy thing is he somehow always managed to find someone that didn't suck. That's like the only way of putting it.
I don't know how either. He's like, oh, you look like you like bikes, or you come in here to buy stuff a lot.
I don't know. But always found someone that was like good enough.
Yeah.
I don't know how you always get that lucky at having someone around. But
I don't And they
No.
always had really cool product. That's all I remember.
He's always had like some new stuff, like very little, and stuff that was 15 years old and they wanted market value for it. Like,
Move right here. Hold on one sec. Got dogs, you know.
yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Nah, all good.
Yeah, so there was definitely old product there, and I don't think they could move it or anything.
No, but I mean, it's easier said from the outside than the inside, but like as soon as stuff starts to get old, they should just get rid of it, give it to the locals. Like sponsor a couple kids, call it that, quote unquote. I don't know. But like get it off your shelves because it's just taking up space and that costs money too.
Yeah. That whole place definitely is, I don't know, I'm not going to talk about that shop in too negative of a light because it did employ me for many years.
Yeah, and it looks bad
Joe's
to do.
a good guy, so you can't.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, he's still operating. I mean, and to be clear, we're not talking about Ace. We're talking about BC Bikes.
That is true. That is true. Very different entities.
Ace is still a somewhat legitimate mail order company.
Yeah, that's true. And people are still buying, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have much contact with Joe.
They might be more legit than Dan's at this point.
It's still around?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't even know, man. Wait, what is Dan's doing? How's that alive?
I don't know. After they had their big issue, I mean, before that, I pretty much always ordered from Albies or Empire anyway. And after their, like, problems, I really don't want to order anything from there.
Yeah, I thought Dan's got, like, bought out by some company and then they just kind of, like, collapsed or something. Is that what happened?
I don't think so. I think they still exist. I think they had some hardship, and then they kind of came through it. Their site's still up. I think they changed owners, though. That's for sure.
I thought the company that owns CCS bought them a long time ago.
Yeah, I think they bought themselves back after they were falling apart.
And that's when they made that team, the video and all that. And then what? They just disintegrated or something?
I don't know.
I think Dan Duckworth is rolling over in his grave right now,
Yeah, probably.
If anyone knows who Dan Duckworth is.
I don't know, but it's his contest, right? Competition.
Oh, yeah. He got in trouble back in the day. What did he do? He used to, like, take companies' logos and print them on the shirts himself and then sell them.
I remember that. I think T1 was, like, one of the companies that they were doing that, and then they stopped selling through them for a long time.
Yeah, they were like, we're not going to work with you.
As they shouldn't.
Yeah, that's pretty poor marketing. Pretty poor business operations.
You know, if you were moving a lot of volume through them, and like if you were selling, 2,000 shirts a month, but you were buying 1,000 from the company and printing 1,000 yourself, you might get away with that. Might.
Maybe.
And not that it's a cool thing to do by any means, but.
Well, if you ever wondered why, like, your terrible one shirt came in, like, Gilgin or something with 2 different sleeve lengths, it's probably not real.
Man, that would be awesome to make a shirt with 2 different sleeve lengths. Like, one of them is a 3/4 and the other's a full length.
I totally had shirts like that back in the day.
That'd be awful. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that Ace is as legit or more than Dan's at the moment. I would have more faith in getting my product from Ace. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I haven't heard a thing about Dan's since I was a kid, and I bought the Dan's stuff, and then I got the shirt, like the chain wallet or whatever came in the mail, or whatever they gave you for free. I don't remember.
Yeah, a calendar.
Or quad XL T-shirts that would always have a stain within like 2 weeks.
Yeah, or a calendar, and you're like, all right, there's been 6 orders in the last 2 months. Come on, guys, I don't need another one.
Yeah, you have your calendar, and it's like December, and they're giving out the year before's calendars. You're like, I don't really want to use a calendar.
Dan's is wild at one point.
They just were spending money. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah.
How much money can we spend to get these orders?
You're probably right. I always like that Albies is 3 cents cheaper than Dan's for every part.
Oh yeah, you gotta just make the number really odd.
Well, theirs is 96. I think that's when they started. So like all their prices end in 96 instead of 99.
Kind of genius. And then there was staff.
There was staff. I don't think I ever ordered anything from them.
My favorite shop growing up was right in Endicott. It was that mail order West BMX, which I don't think anybody would know what that is.
I know the name. I don't ever remember ordering anything from them.
Let me give you a little backstory on Wes. So Wes was an old man who had a BMX mail order in the 80s, and his son Ned, I think his name was Ned, took it over. And they operated it out of a house. So I'd have to go to this house, and there was Wes. He would be in the house, this old man, and then the mom would be there she was on a bed. I think she was like, couldn't leave the bed. And they were all on the first floor, and I would come in and I would say, Ned, like, I want to go look at bike parts. And I'd go in the basement where a cat lived amongst the bike parts and clothes, and I would pick from the mail order selection and go back upstairs and pay in the kitchen. And I remember one year it was like Christmas Eve, and I got profile pranks, and I went back over there on Christmas Day, and I knocked at the door, and I made Wes put him on with a hammer. The old man. He was not happy.
That's really funny.
That's my experience with West BMX. Great place, great people. But it's totally someone's house.
Yeah, I mean, if you never outgrow that.
I understand it now completely. It didn't back then. It's like,
yeah, super bizarre when you're a young kid and there's like bike shops in town, and then you go to that one.
And you're like, they have the best product, but you have to work around this cat that keeps slipping on all the shit. Or it's like cat pee, like you get a shirt or something. It was not ideal, but there was good product. I still got good product out of there, you know?
Is West BMX still around?
No. I don't know the whole story, but I've heard some rumors. I'll keep those to myself.
Alright, fair enough. And then there's a whole bunch of others, but yeah.
Not any of them except Empire. That's the best one down here.
Yeah.
In Weston.
Well, and that's what, I mean, like I said, I order either from them or Albies for the last...
Empire, you know, Ace is my East Coast classic, but
yeah.
Empire here.
Yeah, I mean, here's my love for Empire, right? If I call up or even place an order online for spokes of a certain length, they just send them the right length. It's not like this huge ordeal of trying to explain why I want, like, what I want. You know, I'm building 4-cross wheels. And Dan's will be like, no, you don't want to do that. And they'll send you the length for 3-cross anyway.
Very unlikely that you really wanted to do that. Maybe you read the wrong article or something. Here's some 3-cross.
Yeah, here's some 186s instead. And I'm like, no, I definitely need those 194s. Thank you.
Dan's comp. I don't know what that means there. Get it from me. Indiana, so.
I get it when you've got, like, you have to kind of assume that your average person probably ordering spokes is probably a moron.
I'm a moron when it comes to spokes. That's me. 183, right? Is that a size?
Typically even numbers, I think.
Alright, I'm going to do a radial back wheel. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, no, why would you do that? But yeah, it can be done.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I never got good at building wheels till I lived down here in Pittsburgh. And it wasn't that I was bad at it. I just didn't like to do it. And I always had Derek do it because I could just pay him to do it and do it right.
Well, you always do that special lacing, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the all inside. And that's a fun one. It's a bear.
Yeah, it's so much extra. Well, you got the flange in the way.
Well, and the other spokes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I buy wheels that are complete. That's my big thing now. They just come together. You don't have to do anything. Nice wheel in a box.
If you're content riding 3-cross, regular lacing, there's no reason not to, because they're good hubs, good rims. It's not like this current generation is really spoiled, and it's still awesome, but like, if we didn't buy a rim and a hub and spokes and have it laced, we got a piece of crap in our era.
Yeah. You got an Alex triple wall if you're lucky.
Yeah, no, that was about the best thing you could buy, was an Alex triple wall laced to a Quando hub.
Yeah, or a hula hoop, which was really the worst thing you could buy. A heavy double wall. I have good stories about those. So.
And then Odyssey started selling their hazard sets, which was like kind of the beginning of being able to buy a decent wheel.
Oh yeah, the good old hazard. But the first hazards were quite heavy. And then they got the light, which was actually stronger than the original. The hub shell got significantly smaller over time.
Yes,
and
very
that
much
first
so.
run, they were pretty fat.
I had one of the first batches of their cassettes with a 13-tooth driver in it, and I totally blew the guts out of that hub in like the first day I had it. And they sent me a new driver and blew the guts out of that one right away because it was the hub shell that was rounded over, like the ring gear in there.
Yeah.
And I went back to freewheel for like 2 years after that.
I get the dog. These dogs are following me around, you know?
That's what dogs do.
So yeah, freewheel, I don't think I wrote one good freewheel hub since the cassette switch over. That was the We the People one, I think. Back before We the People was like very modern light stuff. I think it was like heavier back then.
Yeah, and it was probably one of their flip-flop hubs.
Yeah, I think you got it through Derek.
Yeah.
Right when I had him weld in a seat post on my terrible one. Because Garrett Burns. I thought it was a good idea.
I mean, I liked that steel seat post era, personally.
Yeah, this was like, he welded a DK fixed seat post into it, so it really wasn't the best, because it had like one seat angle.
I have one of those 41 thermal Odyssey posts still in my toolbox right out here.
How much does that weigh? Like 5 pounds?
Probably.
Yeah.
It was the one that came with the extra big guts for that huge business class seat.
Oh, yeah, I remember that too. Super fat seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want one of those.
That was my seat back in the day. It was like the glitter Mira.
Mm-hmm.
That was my real wheelhouse in that era.
I'm surprised they haven't come out with a pivotal version of that.
I think they did.
Did they?
Yeah, I think so. When they were making all those redos of the...
Yeah, that might make sense.
And then they made like the jackhammer bars or sledgehammer or whatever they're called.
That seat was super comfortable. It was just so big.
and super like slippery. It was vinyl. It was like glittery.
Yeah.
Where were the hemorrhoids? They made those all in glitter too.
That seat was not good. Derek loves that seat.
I always had that seat for a while, and then I got the steroid and another one, the Pentagon they made.
Yeah, Derek loves the plastic one. I think it's the one I was thinking of is probably the Pentagon that had like the plastic outer shell, but it still had some sort of padding on it.
Yeah, that could also be the hemorrhoid. The hemorrhoid was pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't remember what that plastic one that Derek rides is.
The Primo parts were like a dime a dozen in that era. Like everyone had the super tenderizers, the Primo seat, and the rod posts, casket stem, and I had those Moe's bars or mustache bar or something.
But that era had awesome product names.
They did, and I think that's it's important. Calling Candy Bar, Moe's Bar.
S&M had the gay bars.
Yeah, dive bars.
And the Ramrod seat post.
Oh, you gotta have the Ramrod.
There were just good product names. And probably Bone Death is the only one doing that right now. Like, still fun product names.
The Pornhub? That's a good part name.
Yeah. And I think it's like the vibrator seat or something like that.
Yeah, I love those. I don't know. I mean, yeah, no one else is doing good names. They're like, everyone else is like Voyager, Handlebar, or something.
Yeah. Or anything that has a weed reference.
Oh, that's good. Actually, that's a good idea. Marketing. Weed pedals.
Yeah, weed grips I just saw. I think S&M's making those.
Oh, the edible ones? I did see those.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hit that up. There's no edible.
They should be edible grips.
That'd be smart. I was thinking, actually, I had a little inspiration on this. What do you think of scratch and sniff bike paint?
I don't hate it. What about scratch and sniff pegs? So that, like, obviously, the initial grinds are going to be super scented. And then you won't have... You'll be just catching, like, the edges of the remaining paint
So you can have,
as you grind.
Center and then, like, a crusty smell on the outside. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you're starting to grind off, it just shoots a little.
Maybe that's a better option for plastic pegs.
That, plastic sticks with that rubbery smell,
Yeah, but if you scented it, it's always going to be peeling off.
I think if plastic pegs could smell, they'd be like strawberry.
Sounds about right.
Grape, actually, I would give them grape. That really fake grape too.
Yeah, where it smells like Dimetap cough syrup.
Yeah. Robitussin.
That'd be good. You might actually con me into having a set of plastic pegs on hand.
You just take your PT mold and you dump in some Robitussin and you just kind of let it harden.
Robitussin coated pegs. Gross.
Kids be licking them, that kind of thing.
Be awesome.
It would be great.
Don't think it... I mean, they would just last too long, but the metal ones would... you would only be getting the little edge flakes every time you ground. So you may not smell every time you ground on it.
I think if I was going to have a scratch and sniff peg, I would want, like, chicken wing. Something that you could, it really is going to last, you know what I mean? And then if, you could maybe make a little thingy stuff in the middle of the peg where, you could bring the scent back, like one of those Febreze plugins, for your axle.
You could maybe do your sprocket so every time your chain goes around it.
Ooh. It, shoots a little?
Uh-huh.
Little mister. Yeah. I'm just thinking of ways that the bike could be maybe more useful in scent, I think sand and riding, they go hand in hand.
Yeah. Maybe it could smell like homeless alley urine.
Like East Coast Terminal, or like...
Yeah.
Okay. Sure, we could reenact that.
Yeah, East Coast Terminal might be how we know each other too, though.
I could probably add the alley urine right to Spencer's bike this next time I see him. I'll let you know how it goes. I was thinking maybe just some urine cardboard, you put it right in the peg.
Yeah. Or in the seat tube. Like, go classic on it.
Yeah, you could do that classic trick where you put a little, like, dead fish in your friend's seat tube.
Or hot dog.
Ooh, yeah, hot dog.
So that gets nasty.
That's probably the most important part of this whole thing right now, that idea.
I mean, if you've never put a hot dog in your friend's seat tube, you should definitely do it.
What's your opinion on those electric bike kits for BMX?
I mean, for BMX, it's dumb.
Yeah. Okay, I agree.
But if you want to ride your BMX bike around town and you want to plug that thing in and cheat, then go for it.
That's true. That's true. But if you're like doing tricks with it, do you have an opinion then?
How cool is your trick?
I don't know. Say you're like using the throttle to get some speed to like, I don't know, grind a ledge.
I mean, it's just adding weight and making it more difficult, so I don't care.
What if you, I don't know, use that and you like maybe hit the accelerator when you're like, I don't know, getting speed at the trails?
Oh, they'd be front wheel drive, right?
I would hope. Wait, okay. If
you're is it front wheel or rear wheel? Because if it's a motor to the front wheel as a little conversion kit, then you better be doing like 80-mile-an-hour field grinds.
That would be pretty sick.
And then I'm totally for it. I'm not opposed.
If it goes the other way, you know? Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know how you're not allowed to pedal in the bowl? Do you think if you had one of those motors and you were riding a bowl and you hit it in the center, would you be technically riding in the bowl? That's a question you need to ask.
If you hit the motor while you're in the bowl...
Is that pedaling in the bowl?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, they're out of there.
But I think that should police itself.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's catching on big time. I see a lot of people with these electric motors, so just getting ready for it.
Do you see people with electric motors down there?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. I was curious.
I see them on those scooter things, but I don't see them on like a BMX-y version.
Mm-hmm.
So we're okay for now.
Yeah, back wheel would be kind of lame, but I think you could have a lot of fun with front wheel.
Yeah, I think I might need to get one actually. Just as a test, just to see what people. I don't know.
If it's front wheel, you better be doing ridiculous nose wheelies.
That Bridge Adams probably has had that on his bike for months, so we didn't know it.
I can't imagine it making it easier. You'd have to counteract the torque.
Well, yeah, you see that guy? He's like pure muscle, so maybe he just counteracts it with his muscle.
He just pushes through it. That guy's ridiculous.
He is pretty good at bikes. Unrealistic from my era, you know?
Yes and no. I mean, really the only difference is the brakes.
Oh, yeah. I guess so.
Because we had, like, ridiculous Dave Freemuth. Frymuth.
I think underrated. Actually, he was rated. I wouldn't give him over or under. He was good.
He was probably slightly underrated.
Dave Asado, though, don't forget.
Mm-hmm. Dave Osato and Tobias Wick are like my two favorite all-time riders, probably.
Tobias is really good. move on your questions. What do you got?
I don't have anything. So I don't know. We talked about like kind of how we know each other. I'm guessing it's mostly HCS though, because that's like roughly the time frame I started going down there, was probably 2003.
Yeah, I think the first time I went there, we weren't actually supposed to be on the property. I don't ever think I told Derek this, but we just ended up there. We looked into the garage door and we're like, oh, there's ramps in there. And then we got the phone number off the door. You know, we were like,
yeah.
But it was the same day we rode the Holiday Inn pool by BU.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we broke into that, we left a bunch of tire marks. I think they went back later and brought Splinter on a skateboard, and he got him booted out, but I wasn't there for that, so...
Okay.
I think the cops came and they tried to hide out in it, but then they got caught. Because you can't really leave a pool by hiding, you know?
Yeah, you're just like...
A lot of cop involvement back in the day, riding around there. Were you with me that time when I was on that bridge and they thought I was trying to jump off in the truck?
Yeah, Endicott. Yeah, I totally remember that. And then they're like, well, you know...
Tried
to? Man, they were talking about like felonies for loitering on railroad tracks or something ridiculous. And you're like, what about people that like walk down them?
What was I even doing up there?
You're trying to... So it like had the flat top and then it dropped off and then into another one. You wanted to do like the no start, kind of like push off gap into the downslope.
I remember.
And I think you did it from the low one and then you wanted to do it from the higher one. And you know, the Good Samaritans driving by called the police.
Yeah, I remember.
This is
classic.
Entertaining one.
Yeah, I think I've had lots of cases like that out there, but I don't know.
It's so weird how I haven't been out riding street right now at all, but I'm kind of curious what the mentality is towards people right now.
During this whole thing?
Yeah.
I mean, we've been riding...
I guess to clarify coronavirus, in case someone watches or listens like a year from now.
Well, no. It's probably still going then.
Probably. It'll probably never stop.
So far, my experience is nobody wants to really talk to you up close, so you could pretty much do anything. We rode a ledge in a parking garage, and the security guy just was like waved and drove by. I mean, there's not really much they're going to do.
Well, and like everywhere is barren. So
if you like want to go ride something, now's the time to do it.
Yeah. I was just joking with some friends today. I haven't put gas in my car since a trip to Wedgwood that we made. And it is April 10th that we went to Wedgwood March 8th.
Have you started your car or done anything with it?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I've gotten gas. I haven't really done anything like super outdoorsy. I mean, I don't know. Food, toilet paper, it's kind of rare.
Super rare. High value.
High value. And then we got lines here. You have to wait to go into like a grocery store. You know, they let 5 in at a time.
They just started that here in PA. I actually went to go to Lowe's yesterday. And when I pulled up and there was a line like down the sidewalk, I'm like, I don't actually need what I need that bad. I'll order it off Amazon.
You can get your curbside pickup.
But I am probably going to go tomorrow. I want to go get some more wood. Because I need to build some shelves in this room.
What are you building?
Shelves. But I'll probably also build another quarter pipe.
Oh, there you go.
Or a quarter pipe. I have a bank to sub now. It could use a quarter next to it.
I saw the bank to sub. That was pretty cool.
It's alright.
What are you building next to it?
Like a little 4-foot quarter.
That'd be cool. Out of the grass?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's highly overgrown stone driveway.
long driveway.
Yeah.
That's perfect for acceleration. If you had that electric motor, you could probably rip through it.
Well, it's highly overgrown though, so it's pretty stable.
Yeah. I would definitely ride that ramp if I had it in my backyard. But, for me, I just go ride street, like, I'm just ignoring the coronavirus. So well, that's not true. I actually socially distance and I work from home. But, there's that minute where I'm like, I'm just going to go ride around. Like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
There's an extreme amount of strange people out, I'm not going to lie. And I can give you plenty of stories. There's a guy in, I think a Garfield, one of those hats with strings came up on a small 50 dirt bike the last time Phil and Spencer and I rode. I had a lady barefoot show up in my driveway, trying to lean on my truck. Just like the normal. A lot of that.
They're just, the crazies are not watered down by normal people being around them too, so you're only seeing the crazies.
I think they're just out. They're like, this is cool, do anything. I saw someone today driving with a used mattress on their roof. I found that very concerning. I don't know why, but it's like there's a lot of coronavirus on that mattress.
Yeah.
Don't just drive around with a virus-covered mattress.
All right, well, I got a good one for you then. When I was down there in January, we were hanging out downtown that one night, and just basically you're talking about how most of the time there's no regard for homeless people there. Like, they don't kick them out, they don't do anything. They're just basically allowed to exist there. Have they changed any mentality on that as far as the city goes during this?
I think the city still allows the homeless people to sleep wherever. I don't know if it's changed.
Okay.
So,
it's
still there. It's kind of sad right now because I don't think they have access to most of all the needs because all things are closed.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, even though they're everywhere, it didn't really seem like they were packed in that closely. Like, because they basically are allowed everywhere, they can spread out and have their tents at least 6 feet apart from one another.
Yeah. They can go wherever. I mean, you'll go to a park or a public park, and if you go off in the woods, off the trail, chances are you'll find a camp. And one person lives in that camp, or you'll find one 30.
Mm-hmm.
Or ride a ditch. There was this ditch we were riding up north, and it was a fun ditch, but then over time, it just got overrun by a camp, and there's all this garbage in the bottom of it, and it was no longer rideable, and people were living there on the ledge and stuff.
Yeah.
Or one time I went to ride a wall ride, and someone was sleeping between the ditch and the wall. And another time we went to ride a ditch, and someone looked like they were dead right outside the ditch. So that was unbelievable.
I remember you telling me about that one, that they looked dead.
Yeah, we waited a minute, we were hoping they'd move. It was 98 degrees outside, and they were just laying on the ground, fully clothed, face down. I thought they were dead. And then they rolled over, and I was we were holy shit! It is a live human, not as bad as we thought.
That's good. I mean, in the moment, what do you do when someone's face down, presumably dead?
There's not a lot. We kind of just looked. We were we're going to continue to ride this spot. And legit, there was flies and stuff around them. It looked dead. I guess the temp and all that,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. In Binghamton, I don't remember it that bad, but yeah, there was situations there as well, so.
Well, I think it was you, Wally, and I that were riding around the one day in Binghamton outside that one school with the weird banked ledges.
Oh yeah.
And that 10-year-old kid's flashing the gun and everything at us.
Wait, was that at the skate park or a different time?
I think we probably rode down there from the skate park, but it was not the one at the skate park.
Columbus School?
Yeah.
Yeah, pulled the gun out.
Yeah, it wasn't on us. It was just at us, maybe?
There's probably like 3 times someone's pulled a gun out near me in Binghamton, for sure.
Yeah, I remember the one at Sherry. I don't think I was there.
The one at Sherry was pretty nuts. So that one was interesting. He had it in his basketball shorts. I think he was like mad at someone at the park. He was like put the gun in his waistband. That was pretty interesting.
I'm pretty sure I was not there.
Yeah, I think he had like a handgun. Were you there when my bike got stolen? No, actually, it wasn't my bike. It was that girl I was training to ride bikes. That older lady.
I forgot all about that. Alright, well, now you need to start from the beginning on that one.
That's a weird one. So basically, when I worked at the bike shop, there was this lady who was much older who wanted to pay me to teach her to ride BMX. And I was like, no. Go to the skate park down the street. There's this guy named Derek. Thinking like, let's go to the skate park. Like, and then she was like, no, I want you to train me. And I was like, I know where this is going. But I took the money. And I was like getting paid. I was getting paid $25 an hour or something like that by this lady. But I was only like 19. So I was like, give me the money, I'll do.
Yeah.
Teach you whatever you want. And it was clear, like, after a while that maybe it was not bike related, but there was, like, times it was bike related, so I was like, okay. And one of these times, I guess, at the end, she tried to drop in on a bull and broke her collarbone or something in Georgia, but I didn't really teach her how to do that, so she just took her own on that one. But yeah, okay, let's go into the detail about her bike. One time I was at the skate park, I convinced her to buy this heavy ass bike, and then she's like, can you adjust the brakes? So I get off my bike and I like go adjust the brakes, and a kid gets on my bike and starts taking off into the neighborhood, and downtown Cody Brown and X chase him into the neighborhood, and I don't know how it went, I think it was Cody knocked him off the bike, the kid like went rolling into like a yard.
Okay.
X kept yelling he was gonna stab him or something, and the kid was like screaming. I did get my bike back, that's for certain. That's one of the many bikes I had stolen. One of 4 or something.
I haven't seen Cody in a long time.
I haven't either.
But it does. I know X moved. Is he down there in Austin?
Yeah, he plays music now.
Okay.
I haven't actually seen him ride in a while, but when I moved here, he would ride.
I remember seeing clips of him down there. I just couldn't remember like how long ago that's been.
He might still ride. I don't know, because we live on the other end of town from each other. It's like that's what makes it kind of hard too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he still rides, or he might have ridden recently. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure I still follow him on Instagram or something, but
yeah, he used to ride a lot when he was in Binghamton.
well, yeah, I mean he was at East Shore practically every time I was at East Shore.
Yeah, we had a really good. That was a good scene that era of East Shore.
Yeah, that park was like, I'm gonna say that it wasn't like my home. Like HCS was always my home park, but the memories that a lot of people have of East Coast Terminal, I would say that would be East Shore for me.
Yeah.
Like as far as a lot of friends and like always having a good session when I was there with the friends.
Well, I think the riding level too, like when you're a little bit better and you're at a park that you can like learn things on. I think when I was young at East Coast, it was like I was a kid hacking the bike route, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we were young.
Yeah, I mean, I was probably getting good enough to really ride there when they were closing. Their like last year in existence was where I was able to ride the park.
I know, it's kind of sad too.
But even so, like, yeah, it probably goes hand in hand. But I was never in the crowd that loved that place, or that was down with the crowd at that place.
Yeah, I think in that era it was like weird because all those people are like everyone's grown up, and it's like everything's different. But I think when I started riding there, I don't think I ever really had a crowd. Like it was like from Owego. So
Well, and like, I would go there, and my dad would take me, and he would skate the mini ramp while I rode. So it's like, how, on one hand, how cool is it that your dad goes to the skate park with you? I think it's kind of cool. On the other hand, you're like, yeah, that kid's here with his dad. Like, I don't know.
my dad would go. I didn't feel that weird. My dad was into bull riding at the time, so it's very different.
Mm-hmm.
He would just stand up on the thing and watch, and I think that's about it. I think he like recorded once, or someone recorded VHS. I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
That's about it. That was like my whole East Coast experience. I'm just kidding. That was like a big part of it. And then the Law Revolution jams, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ghetto Con.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, I was at all that stuff too. Just, I don't know. I never felt like, I don't have the lovely memories everyone else has of that place. But they're like glorified through the years, you know? You kind of like whitewash out all the crap that was going on there. And just remember the fun.
I definitely got sucked into some of the crap like elsewhere, like parties and stuff, but not really, because it was just like, you know, we're just kids.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was realistically probably for the better.
On the East Shore, you would just drive through a blizzard to go ride ramps, and it would always be treachery.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one time I went up there, I think Justin Wade was the one that picked me up. It was Justin Wade. I was in Justin Wade's car, I think. And it was Jake Brown with Ryan Sobiak in the car.
Sounds about right.
And I told them this back roadway I thought was like good. And I don't know what I said. But we like turned on this road, and it was just like dirt. And it was a downhill, like 45-degree angle of ice. Then we slid, and then we slid to the bottom, and then they just came and slid and smashed into the car, and we were like, both cars were just super messed up. And luckily, this tow truck driver was behind us. He's like, I knew you guys were going to do that. And he towed us out, and we ended up driving to the skate park with like Justin Wade's car, like the fender ripped off, or like the bumper was dangling, or I don't remember.
It was always treacherous going there. And it would be perfectly fine in Binghamton. Like, nice sunny day, and you'd be like, it's cold out, but let's go to East Shore. And by the time you got past Candor,
Oh, yeah, you're really...
it was a complete death trap. Because that's when you started getting into, like, the uphill, downhill. And then you had that huge hill down into Ithaca.
Yeah, and your car just was like all the way down, sliding.
Yeah, that was rough. But we also, like, that park was super simple. But we would all make that trip 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah, it was a drive. I'm surprised we did it.
I mean, from Vestal, for me, it was like an hour or so. I think almost exactly an hour. So, you were driving from Owego at that point?
Yeah, Owego wasn't as far.
So it'd be like 45 minutes, maybe, for you?
Yeah, it's just like back roads, you know?
Yeah.
Away.
I mean, even the highway way is still back roads. 96.
Yeah, now that I think back, it was kind of just back roads.
Like, even if you went the most direct highway way, it was 96. And that's a country road through Candor.
Yeah, I love Candor, man.
I mean...
Nobody knows what Candor is, so...
I do. That's where Rachel's from.
Oh, that's true.
I've spent my fair share of time in Candor.
It's a very small area. How about Catatonk? Your experience there?
Yeah, I got 2 friends that lived, like, right there.
I think I used to get conned into going to parties there in a single wide trailer in Catatonk at the mini golf course.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. They're like, come on out to Catatonk. I was like, what's Catatonk?
I don't know. I mean, I would either call that Owego or Candor. I would never refer to Catatonk as its own place.
It's a town.
I know it is.
It's a real... I also lived in Nichols. I don't know if you have any experience with Nichols. But
yeah, Nichols is definitely more of a town than Catatonk.
it was a town, but BMX scene... Pizza scene was super good, but the BMX scene not so good.
Yes.
And I'd go to the Dollar grocery store. I don't know if you've ever been to one of those. Disgusting.
No.
All groceries $1. Everything.
You know, there's certain items at that point that are not concerning. But, like, I wouldn't buy meat or eggs or milk.
No. I think we did, though. My family definitely did. Bacon, get that dollar bacon.
You're cooking it, whatever. You're still alive, you're fine.
It's like made of bologna, just shaped like bacon.
You might be immune to coronavirus because you bought stuff at Dollar Grocery.
I'm probably immune just from the way I grew up, so that's built in. Just the dirt,
Man, where else did you live? Oh, okay. So you moved. Joe Banks moved to the area, and then you guys lived in Cortland together.
That's true.
So, here's a story. This Joe Banks dude comes out to one jam at HCS. And everyone came out to this jam. Was that your jam? Was it the Weston jam?
It was the Weston cycle.
Okay.
Jam.
So Joe Banks comes out and he's like, man, this scene is sick. I love it here. And he moves to Binghamton over one jam at HCS. Now, notable in that era, no one went to HCS. Like, I went to HCS. A couple other people went to HCS, but that was really about it. And it was all the people that he was like, man, the scene is so sick. That was probably like the first time I'd seen them out on their bikes in over a year. It was at that jam. So you're like, I had talked to him and I'm like, dude, this scene is not sick. Like, you don't want to move here.
It's a little ill, actually.
And he moved from Cleveland to Binghamton.
He moved from Cleveland to my apartment in Cortland.
Yeah. Yeah, and all right, let's make that clear too for anyone that doesn't know. Binghamton had a scene, quote unquote. And Cortland has nothing. Cortland is terrible.
I'm pretty sure Joe started to slowly lose his mind after 3 months. I brought home a cat once. We had this at that apartment. It lived at my mom's, and there was this cat that I think I lured in with bread pizza crust maybe or something. Came right out of the woods, and I was like, his name was Boulderhead. And Boulderhead did live like in the vicinity of my mom's house, but she would just feed it and maybe put it in the basement or something. And this one time, Boulderhead was out there, and I was like, well, why don't you come live with me in Cortland? So I put Boulderhead in the cage, and Joe, don't think Joe knew I was bringing the cat back. So I bring this cat, and on the way there, it peed, right? It peed, and it went all over my seat, and I was like, great, and it went through the cage. And then right when I'm stopping the car, it decides I'm gonna poop right here. I'm pooping the cage. Like, cool, poop in the cage, like whatever. And that wasn't like a normal poop, it was like kind of a diarrhea-y poop.
Yeah, the nervous poop.
Yeah, and I think it was a little sketched out, so it decided, hey, I'm gonna cling really tight to the cage and maybe get the poop all over my chest. That kind of deal. So sure enough, I bring the cat in, and I'm racing to get this thing to the bathtub because I gotta wash it with my coconut swab because that's the only shampoo I had at the time. So I got the coconut swab, and I'm washing this cat. Little does Joe know that I don't think he even knew I was bringing this cat back, or maybe just a very brief sentence. so it lived with us for about a day, and then it took the biggest poop we'd ever seen on the floor. It was like the size of a human poop. And then I had to bring it home. So that was it.
That's great.
That's what I got, you know. And then I think Joe, I don't know, he just got really burned out on living behind we lived behind like one of the most poppin' college bars in Cortland, which just was annoying all the time. And a lot of homeless people would climb on our emergency escape and sleep for the night. So that happened every day.
I'm just going to guess that it also had to do with he moved out there thinking there was a sick riding scene and probably never got to ride.
You know, we made the best of it, I think. It was a good, brief experience. When we found out that I wasn't living in student housing, but it was actually Section 8 housing, that's when it got real weird. And we quickly... And I think Joe was working at a call center at the time. I might have to interview him and bring that up.
I need to talk to Joe. I text him occasionally. I talked to him probably 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Ask him about the call center he was working at. I think it's called NCR or something in Binghamton, where you drive from Portland.
Yeah, I remember. Because I think someone we knew was working there. Maybe Danny.
Okay. Yeah, maybe they're all working in the call center.
And I think, like, through maybe her, he got hooked up with a job there. And Joe doesn't seem like a call center guy to me.
He was doing it. I mean,
yeah.
He wasn't very happy at all on the way home. I think I was working at a ski resort at the time making snow. So it was kind of like, we both had weird-ass jobs. I worked nights. I had to wear bibs and, you know, make snow.
Yeah.
People that were making $8 an hour on a mountain. So.
It sounds great, though. Kind of. Like, it's a great story now. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a story. Living in Cortland's a story, so you really have to.
Yeah. I don't plan to ask too much about Cortland because I know. They've got a really bad-looking ramp park, like prefab metal ramps.
Real bad. The college has some stuff to ride, but I attended there, so it was always like a little sketched. And
yeah.
The street was terrible. So.
I'll definitely add Joe to the list of people I need to talk to.
Yeah, you should phone him up right now. We should get that like partridge, the little family. You know, just start
three-way him in.
Yeah, just start calling out random people. What else do you want to be on this? Where's Boogie? You know, that's the question.
Boogie.
Do an interview with Boogie.
Do I know Boogie?
Yeah, he used to do the Mind Boggler. It was his own trick he made up. Yeah, it was at Binghamton Park.
Yeah, okay.
Find him and interview him. I will certainly listen because I missed that guy. He was a great guy.
Man, that name like threw me for a loop. I'm like, wait, who is this?
You need to do a series called like Binghamton Locals and just kind of like start really picking through the list. And
I want to interview Mark, the homeless guy that used to fight the aliens off for us at the park.
The one with the metal hat that would always come down the skate park?
I think so. Red hair?
Oh, yeah. The one that hung out by the skate park.
Yeah.
What happened to him? He came out from under the bridge. I think he lived under that bridge.
He did.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in, very long time.
I haven't seen him in a long time either.
There's that old school guy that had the old school bikes that also kind of look like the homeless guy.
Yes.
Nice, but he didn't have the same beard.
I think the last time I saw Mark was there were like 4 kids throwing rocks at him at Sherry Lindsay.
Sounds right.
And like I kind of lost it on those kids, yelled at them, and then they left, and he left.
That skate park was such
and that was that.
a shit show. I remember like bunny hopping toddlers and stuff like when you're going through a bowl. And there's like always, I almost got in fights with parents all the time that would let their kids just hang out at the skate park, and then something would happen, the kid like get caught on my bike, and it was like their dad would come, he's like, "You hit my kid," and then I would be like, you know,
you're like, look at this mess.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a sketch area. I don't know if it's improved.
No. Probably gotten worse.
I mean, I liked it. I liked the park. When I opened the gas, now I go back and I'm like, ugh, everything is just so...
Alright, so you know what's funny about that? I hated that park. I always hated that park. I would go ride, like, the Walmart Plaza alone rather than go there. And there's nothing at the Walmart Plaza.
Yeah, that's true.
But now that I don't live there, I love going back to that park and catching a session there. And it's like, I like how wonky some of it is.
It's unique.
It's not good. I mean, there's
a wall ride behind it, but
the bank ramp between the two bowls. If you just roll in on that as if it's a normal ramp, you're going to go over the bars when you hit the bottom of it.
Yeah, I don't know how little kids... I mean, I had let some little kid drop into my bike once. He knocked his front teeth out. I remember that. I don't know how most kids even learn to ride there. But they do.
The coping all along the bowl, you think it's square coping, but it's not. It's round coping that was too thin and smashed flat.
Oh, it's so smashed. You like grind on it, it goes... You know, like, it's good.
Well, they put aluminum coping in everywhere, or stainless or something. It's like horrible.
It's like a rollerblading park. That's what I used to tell everyone. Nice rollerblading park. I love rollerblading.
Maybe. I don't know. That park's just bad. Like, but I like it now, so it's weird.
Do you think that's the worst park? Because I think Owego beats it. Just saying. And nobody knows what Owego Park is other than...
I think Corning's park is the worst.
What is it? Just like a bunch of wedges, right?
Yeah, it's those steep two wedges with the four-sided steep pyramid in the middle. And two ledges on the sides.
Kind of sounds like something I want to ride right now.
I take everyone that I bring up from Pittsburgh there.
Yeah.
Like, everyone. Because they complain about our park sucking here. And I'm like... I'm like, you guys have never ridden a bad park. You don't even know what a bad park looks like.
How about Oneana's mini?
I just like to assume that that's intentionally supposed to be like two box jumps in a row, like wedge to wedge.
But get to the thought that is supposed to be a mini.
I know. All right. If anyone's wondering what we're talking about, I'm going to pull a picture of this mini ramp up, and then I can switch to it, I think, quick. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be able to see. Oneana Skate Park. Is there a picture of this mini ramp? Yes, there is. Man, it's really, really low res. Alright, well, it's going to have to do. Hang on. Alright. So we just showed it briefly. Now we're back. It's, man, I don't think it makes 45 degrees. It's probably like a 40-degree wedge with tranny all the way up.
It's like 20. I don't know.
It's like two pyramids with maybe a 4-foot flat top.
It's very bad.
But then the middle, there might be 2 feet of flat bottom between the like trannies on it. It's real bad. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's. I don't know. Maybe it is a half pipe. And all the other stuff there, it looks like people made themselves. So I think they really didn't work too hard on it. It kind of reminds me of the Elmira Skate Park rail, another great invention. That way over bar height rail that is like only going down 3 stairs. Eldridge Park. And then remember DJ's, the most slippery park ever written?
Well, while we're still on Eldridge, though, not only that rail that you're talking about that's like way too high, there's also the one that's like knee height, but this steep into the ground. Oh,
yeah. That's the one. And also then you have the full bowl, which is just a
cereal bowl.
Literally as wide as 2 bikes. Like you're in and out.
It's a cereal bowl. It's got a flat bottom in it. It's like it should be an eyeball shape, just complete sphere.
I don't know how these things could even be designed. Like try to think about it. Like someone had zero knowledge about what they're building.
So, all right, let me tell you one thing that you may or may not know. In the plans for that, the roller next to the pyramid is supposed to be a spine.
Really?
But they rolled their quarters.
It doesn't make any sense.
So they have that weird blob roller. And, man, there was like one dude out there, John Shavs, that could blast that thing and ride it well.
Is that the one whose parents own CJ's, or is that another guy?
I think you're right. I think it was him.
He was like the only one that. Well, then there's some younger kids later, but there was no one else.
CJ's. Who opens a private indoor park at the entrance to the free outdoor park?
It was so slippery. There was like a box jump that you rolled in, but then pedaled like 30 times before you got to it.
You rolled in.
It'd go nowhere because there was nothing.
You rolled in across the park from it, pedaled all the way across the park, past the box jump, up this huge vert wall that was the slipperiest vert wall you'll ever ride. And then you had to come off of the vert wall and like kind of jog a little bit to hit that box jump. And that's where that slippery floor would get you.
It was so slippery. And then they built like a wall ride that was like touching the quarter lip, and then they built those stairs. I think he rolled in a quarter that had stairs or something. Like, it made no sense.
They had what was that vert ramp? 12 feet wide, maybe? Like, it was not a wide vert ramp, but it had like a 4-foot channel gap in it. So it was like 4 feet of vert, 4-foot channel, 4 feet of vert. It might have only been 2-foot channel, but
wasn't that the one with stairs somewhere? Like they built something with stairs.
Yeah, on the back side of the vert ramp. You're right.
It's like no stairs were there.
It was weird. I wish there were pictures of that park. There might be. I mean, good luck, right? I know there's edits from there.
I love the fly-by-night skate parks of that era. I don't know why. They all had some sort of quirk that made them a fly-by-night.
Oh, I forgot they had a spine mini.
It'd probably be more fun now, but it was so slippery. If they could have got that place broomed or something.
Oh, we got an edit. You can't see it. Do you hear the sick music, though?
Like corn or something?
Oh my god, dude, you're right. Alright. So, I forgot. Okay, there was the era of having the vert ramp, where it was an actual vert ramp, and then they took it and split it apart and put like a street park in the middle of it.
In the vert ramp.
Yeah, the vert ramp.
Weird. And you like run into it because you like couldn't get out.
It was. Oh my god. Alright, I'm copying this link and pasting a shortcut into here so I can reference this link.
Yeah, That was
So
classic.
check the notes. There's a link to this really awesome edit to check out the CJ's skate park we've been talking about. This park has come up on numerous occasions in this podcast, but we never really go this far with it. So
You would think it wouldn't come up at all, but maybe I'm wrong.
also, for whatever it's worth, whoever posted this, just go blow this video up. Just send it likes so that people are real confused about why his video is getting views right now. So it was posted in 2009 by Daniel Glenn Sheely.
Good old Dan Sheely.
I don't know. I don't think I ever met him.
Never heard of him.
There's a comment. What happened to CJ's anyway?
The answer is in the video.
Did you watch the edit before you commented that?
Yeah, so that's another good one. You know, there's a lot of good skate parks out there.
Corning's the best.
I need to run back.
Corning used to have another park though. Out in like their police station had a park outside of it.
We got rid of that.
They got rid of it and moved like the remaining not falling apart ramps to the other one, the bad one, and then they fell apart worse there, and they hauled them out of there. So.
How about Groton? They had a good park.
I never rode Groton's park.
It was a tennis court with a rail in it. I thought it was fun.
If you rode there more than once, you probably actually know my brother-in-law, who grew up there and rode there. Wayne Swansborough.
The name sounds familiar, but I don't know why. Okay, how about this one? Newark Valley Park.
Just got a revamp.
Did it?
Yeah.
Now,
Shout out to STS, Shannon, Kim, and crew.
they rebuilt the whole outside where it's all like all the holes and all that.
Yeah, they just replied it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that park was interesting because that whole ordeal with Kelly and Nike.
So I was trying to find that, but the come up site is gone now. So like all the history of that write up and everything with Kelly, it's all gone. But
Yeah.
so when I saw they were going to be putting some time and money into like revamping that place, I had just brought some stuff down from my parents' house, and I was like looking through it, and I have one of the banners from that Thanksgiving Jam, like one of the original ones.
Those 6
And I'm like, I don't know why I have it.
I rolled it up and just God,
Yeah, but that's not me.
got it.
So that's what I think maybe like some of the rat kids were like stealing all this stuff, and I was like, someone that like isn't gonna just throw this in a fire maybe should have one of these. I don't know. But I was like, I saw they were doing that. I'm like, if one of you guys wants this thing, like, it's yours because it's got a lot more meaning to you than it does to me. But
Yeah, this was.
Kelly said to keep it. I'm like, all right. Now I feel like I'm obligated to hold on to this thing.
I get why he was irritated with that because it's like we're gonna just Nike's gonna build a skate park, and then it was like not really what you thought they were gonna build, I guess. But you know,
Well, I mean, the whole thing was supposed to be a mini ramp in the first place, but
I'm glad Nike even built anything. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, because there was a moment where they weren't going to do anything. They were just going to flop. My favorite thing was that they built all those little death pockets into that park where it's like, it looks like there's a transfer there, but you'll nose into nothing. And they built it the way they built it, and then some, like, the guys that built the park were getting the first runs in on it, and I think two of them in a row hit this transfer into one of those death pockets and nosed into the flat ground and just died.
Who was at that? I wonder if it was like Dennis Anderson or someone like popular now riding like.
I don't know.
I don't remember. There's no footage anymore of it. All of Binghamton's history in BMX is just starting to go away. It's like, unless you have a printed copy of a dig, you're pretty much gonna, or a VHS tape.
Yeah, if you bought the props box set.
Oh yeah, it's in that too.
Or any of the old FBMs.
That's it. I mean, most of the history is.
I know. No one even knows that Ace BMX had a video, a shop video.
Well, that was a weird idea. An unanticipated idea, I believe. We would give those out with every order.
I wonder if Hard Copy BMX Archive has one.
We could add it, because I have a few.
You have a few? Dude, send it to him, for sure.
Just a blank DVD with an Ace BMX sticker on it.
I know. Dude, send it to him. Hit him up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was one of our prime first videos.
Ace BMX video. I think that's on YouTube or something, too.
Yeah, I uploaded it, I think, to MAO a long time ago.
Okay, I'm going to share a link to that, too, because it's pretty good.
It's good and it's bad, watching back.
All right, well, let's put it this way. It was bad enough that Wally basically assumed no one watched it and then reused about half those clips for BMX Super Fun Time.
Yeah, all those, like, you can tell the difference in the quality.
But that video also might be the, kickstart of Wally's career.
BMX Super Fun Time?
No, Ace.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That was the first project he edited.
Did you go to White Sox trails when we went with Wally? Those trails down in Scranton?
No.
I remember he had a camera with an idiot, like, something happened to me, he smashed it with a rock.
Maybe
we'll ask him that.
I was thinking about John earlier. I should talk to him too if he wants to. But like, I haven't really talked to John in a long time, other than like an occasional "Hey, what's up?"
We should do like an all the Binghamton people, just all at once.
I know that I can easily handle like 4 other people and myself on here, and we could do it as a live so that everyone else could chat in.
That would be pretty cool. To start calling in Binghamton riders, you know? Get a little different view on everybody's view.
Yeah.
I don't know. That meeting was the best, you know?
Think someone is definitely going to be excluded that should be in that. But I mean, that era of our riding anyway, it was like you, me, and John, and that was really it.
You mean from our side of town?
Yeah, like that. Well, that would go out and ride together and film and work on anything.
Yeah, I think in Binghamton, I think the Team Major Air stuff was going on with
Yep.
John and Mike. But they were like on their own thing, obviously.
Yeah. And like for BMX Super Fun Time, John, living in Binghamton, started to link up with like Cody and Nikolai.
Oh yeah.
But that's another one I don't think I've heard Nikolai's name.
I don't know what happened to him.
I don't know. Alex Capolongo, I gotta talk to him. Ithaca.
That guy kills it. He needs to ride his bike more. What's his Spencer says.
He's been riding it a lot lately. He and Casey have been building a ghetto skate park in their backyard.
Oh, nice. Casey
Cook.
Weston,
Yeah.
to do, you know?
Yeah.
Clip Andy.
Who's that?
I don't know. Clip Andy. I can't really give Derek one, I think. Derek has a lot of
Yeah.
hand plant, rip grind, Derek.
It's Derek.
Some weird thing that nobody can do. That's all I have to say.
Pioneering tricks like 5 years before anyone else did the first one. And it's just like, well, it was in an HCS video, slow mode on a VHS player by play, pause, play, pause, play, pause, play, pause, play, pause.
Yep. I remember those. And you listen to some Danzig, you know?
Yep. There's supposed to be a remastered box set coming out.
For HCS?
Yeah.
I'll pay for it. I remember I entered the Nomad Jam.
That was such a good idea, and it was such a flop of a contest that no one came to.
I felt like we only filmed a total of 4 clips, and we put in 2.
Yeah.
I don't know if we won anything. I remember we were up against Jeff Harrington. I was like, we're not going to beat
There,
this.
yeah, Jeff and Jarrett.
Yeah, they had a really good part. I was like, that doesn't add up with the rest.
No, they were the only ones in pro class, though. Everyone else entered AM. But, man, that whole contest, like, everything from that is in Machine, I think.
Is it in Machine?
Yeah.
I have a case that says Machine, but there's no video in it. So if Derek wants to make a box set, I would totally buy it, because I am missing the DVDs that belong in the case.
I know that Andy had it all, like, re-edited. Because he captured it all, and he cleaned all that stuff up as good as he could digitally. So it at least, like, plays smoother and doesn't look horrible.
That's fine. It should look a little horrible, you know?
I mean, it's still old VHS tapes.
I also need wooden pedals. Those are still around as well.
He's still got them, I think.
Yep. Need those. Pretty much, yeah. That's it.
But that contest should have been so much better than it was.
I entered the Earthquake Jam, and it turned out to be, it was raining out, so it's just Ryan and I in the jam. That was really funny. So we just competed against each other.
Yeah. I remember that one. Is that the one Joel was at? In one, maybe?
I don't know. I don't remember there being many people at the jam because it was just downpouring.
Because I remember Joel won, like, the sick leather jacket thing, or vest that Derek made.
I don't know which one that was for.
I don't know.
I think I've only entered a few jams there.
I've been at pretty much every one that I can think of.
I think I just entered the FBM one, the Earthquake one, and that Nomad one. Never did any other ones.
Remember the brawling at the Belmar where you ejected my race bike and hit yourself in the face with my back tire?
No, okay, you have that story flipped. The first year I jumped with your bike.
Okay, so that was...
jumped with my bike. So the first year I actually cleared it with your bike.
Yeah, it was like a 44-14 or something. It was so geared up.
Gearing on that was so good that first year, I think I actually got over it. But I kept going sideways. It was so long. And I racered it. I racered that huge ass double. And then the next year I had this poverty free coaster and it kept slipping and there I was.
Okay.
And I went to bail, I threw the bike down and sure enough, right in the face. Got a nice black bruised eye to chin, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
That existed. I mean, I'm sure that footage is out there.
No, yeah, there's definitely footage of that. That happened before I got hit by a car on the same side.
Was that the year that it was raining a ton, too? So, like, the jump was soggy, and everyone was having troubles hitting it?
Yeah, for the pros, they put wood on the lip.
Yeah, after they watched all the AMs struggle through it.
Yeah, we just died. I mean, I never even jumped trails. I was like, I'll jump that thing. Let's do it.
Suva tried to whip it every time and would just, like, catch pedals and then nose case and die.
I get it. He was going for that win right away, you know?
I mean, that was Suva. Every time you talk to him about something like that, like, just kick it and put your feet on. If you make it, then you rode away from the whip. If you didn't, you were going to crash anyway.
Suva could pretty much do anything. It was just, like, casual.
Yeah.
It's kind of nuts. Second jam was fun. I don't know. Would never do it again.
No, I mean, it was kind of like they built a jump that was too big for that backyard. And they're just like, if we bring the hype, enough kids will send it, and then that's it.
They did bring the hype. I mean, wasn't Mirat one of them, too?
I don't remember.
I don't know. I just remember it being like, a lot of people.
It's like,
a lot of weekend. I think I had 4 Red Bulls at one of them and then drank. And I was like, shaking. I was like so messed up because it was a Red Bull gym. They kept giving them out. Thinking, well, drink Red Bull before you.
I never liked Red Bull. But after you're given enough free, it starts to taste alright.
Girls with a backpack. Like, here, have a Red Bull. And I'm like, no, I just had one. Like, here, have another Red Bull. And I'm like, I had one, and I'm also drinking beer now. And then by your 4th one, you're like, all right, I'm jumping this jump. That's, I think, how they got the majority of those guys jumping. All the Red Bulls and beers.
Probably. Those contests were wild.
Shadow Comp was really wild.
Like, how many people traveled there for one dirt jump?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Bad.
One dirt jump in a sketchy backyard at a dive bar.
You had to wait for traffic to, like, stop on Main Street so you get speed to cross it. Like, go, and then hop up on a curb and then ride through gravel.
And then through a gate.
Grass.
Yeah, you had to make it through their gate, which it was wide enough that it wasn't like clip your bars, but it still, you had to go through their gate.
And then people, it sucked because you'd be pedaling your ass up, people would be chanting. And they'd be like, eat it. Or I don't know what they were saying. But in my head, it was like, eat it.
Well, half the people that were there were just bar patrons, like, woo!
That's what it was. And then people started chanting, and you're riding up to this thing, and you know either your chain is going to break before the lip, or that your bike is not geared right, or you're going to die. And you know everyone just wants to see that.
Mm-hmm.
That was the Belmont, in my eyes. And then the pros came on, like, yeah, we jump these all the time at the triple dirt circuit for Toyota. And then we're like, okay, cool, see ya.
Well, that's cool. Why does it have to be a 34-foot double for me?
That's the intention, just splat them, you know, splat the onions.
Yeah, I think I rode it that first year, but I never made it over it. My front wheel made it over it. But I still cased and then did like the over the bar flop thing and like, all right, that's enough for me.
I remember getting over it with your race bike, but I don't remember what I did. I think I took a foot off or something.
That bike has been through a lot.
I just remember it would always go sideways. It just loved being sideways. I was like, why
It was
are you
probably
sideways?
bent. It's an aluminum frame.
Oh, it happened. Jumped it.
It's a 1998 Schwinn Pro Stock 2 complete bike.
I mean, I feel like we put a lot of bikes to the test back then, so
I still have that bike.
start riding it. So your other one.
I might. Because I live right down the road from the local racetrack.
South Park?
No, Westmoreland BMX.
Okay.
It's Everyone that races at South Park is snooty to the people that race at Westmoreland. Like, you're not good enough to race South Park.
South Park's legit. That's like old.
Yeah. Westmoreland is too. They actually have a pro set and everything.
There's one by my house too. Central Texas.
You gonna start racing it?
How? It's so much energy and exercise.
I would probably start getting into it just because of Ryder. Because they have a Strider track there too.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
On track or something for kids?
Yeah, it's like a small track. Separate from the main track.
It's probably smart not putting the Striders on the main track.
Well, they used to. So they run the last two straights typically. Where it's just the technical section.
I think there's a permanent fear for me with racing. So I don't know how, from being a kid, flipping the bars at bingo on a triple, scraping like my face really bad.
Yeah. That track was awesome.
The bingo track?
Yeah.
It was like half paved later in time. It
Yeah.
used to all be different, and it was all paved.
Yep. I think they paved it right around the time I started racing. Because, like, 98, I don't think it was all paved. Because that's when they still had, like, the second berm had the roller in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah. That was really bad.
It was such a weird obstacle.
I remember they paved that berm, though, and then people started using it as the skate park later.
Yeah. Oh, and they made the first one that, like, S berm, so then you could jump from berm to berm.
Do you remember Terry? I used to ride with this dude Terry back then.
Vaguely.
And, like, I don't know what happened to Terry, but Terry Richards, I think. Wherever you are, Terry Richards. But yeah, we used to ride that track. And he was always like, you know, he was like the dirt jumper BMX race guy that was kind of a little bit like, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
So he was cool. I mean, he was good. I looked up to him, but he was nuts.
The one I remember more is Josh Molyneux.
Oh yeah, but he was always super fast.
Yeah, but I also knew him because he lived, like, right outside the Endwell Trails.
Yeah.
And then I'd see him there.
Yeah, Molyneux. I think we grew up hanging out with him. And Corby, you know, that whole
Yep.
group.
And then there were the Deemies from Endicott. They were all good racers, but I don't remember them ever getting into, like, trails.
In my neighborhood, we had trails, and then there was, like, the pro trail, like, the better riders trails, and that was the Mantis trails. And then they would, like, have all the racer kids over, but we built our own trails. Like, we're gonna have our own trails. And we built them, and they would come and, like, hack them on purpose. Friends with those guys now, but back then they were kind of, they gave us all nicknames.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somehow this other guy in the neighborhood started calling me Teardrop, so that was my nickname for a while. Then one of my friends got the nickname Meatball, another one was called Rufus. It was hard time.
Teardrop's a cool nickname, though.
I told him that I heard the coolest bike frame had teardrop tubing, and then it went from that to my name was Teardrop. So then when I was on the bus, everyone thought I was like Crybaby because I'm being called Teardrop. Yeah, they thought I was Teardrop. Then again, like, kids on my bus would call other kids fish lips. You know, it was like the normal.
Yeah.
It wasn't like anybody was nice to each other back then.
Yeah, but Teardrop is like, it's a hilarious name. It's kind of an awesome name, but yeah, when you're a kid, you're like, no.
You're like, I don't want to be referred to anything that involves tears. I'm tough, you know. It's like, in 6th grade, I'm like, tough.
No, every time you get a boo-boo riding, you sit there and cry.
And that was not me, you know. I was like, I am not a Teardrop. I mean, I would fight kids.
As soon as you double down on it not being your name, it's totally your nickname.
I don't know.
Just because it gets you going.
I lived with that for a while in my mind. tried to strengthen up by ninth grade. Kind of let it go.
I had Ferguson, and it was really just because people couldn't say my last name or were being lazy about it. But like, even my ID that I called you with, it's still like my old email from way back then.
Better than Fergie. Imagine you're a Fergie.
Yeah, totally. But there was that one, and then there was AV, and that's what everyone's called me for a long time.
I know you as. I don't even know your real name.
Until I moved to Pittsburgh, no one calls me that here.
They call you Andy.
Yeah.
And I met the Pittsburgh kids and they came and they called you Andy.
Yeah. I already forgot that they all came down and hung out with you because their original plan like totally flaked on them.
Yeah, they came down and stayed. Hung out with Sadie, you know.
Cause any havoc?
No, it was pretty chill. We ended up riding a bunch. They rode way more than I did because I worked most of the time. But
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think it was fun, except it got real cold, if I remember right. Like, colder than it was supposed to be.
It was just Brad, Chase, and Travis, right?
Yeah.
They're cool dudes, though.
Yeah, and they just, like, met up. I think Brad's on that Gold Leaf sponsorship for that weed wrap thing or something.
Yeah.
So he had to, like, do some footage for that. And then some other dude that lives in town is also on that team, I guess, so we went and met them.
Oh, weird. That's cool, though.
It's like a double weed wrap meetup.
That sounds terrible, quite honestly.
Out there, I was just, you know me being an old school guy,
Yeah.
doing old school things. Nothing more than that.
Like, alright, whatever, man. You do you.
Yeah. It was definitely... It was cool. It was cool to have people down, though. It was right before this whole coronavirus outbreak, you know?
Yeah. And I was right in the middle of a couple projects, like heavy projects for work. And they're like, you should come too. And I'm like, I can't. Like, I literally can't go anywhere right now.
Now you can't go anywhere right now.
I literally can't go anywhere right now. But I'm working from home. Woohoo.
Yeah, same. Half tempted to drive to the desert, but who knows if I will. Our lady and I might just sleep.
Yeah, that's cool. Dude, working from home is rough, though. Like, I like it once in a while. Like, 2-3 days in a row is cool. Because you can really hammer down, like, get a bunch of stuff done.
It gets very old.
Yeah, after you've been doing it for, like, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you're just like, I never leave this spot. Like...
Pretty much. And then Monday feels like Tuesday, and Wednesday feels like Monday, and Thursday feels like Saturday. I actually don't know. They all feel the same.
Yeah. And, like, I don't know. I mean, I just...
Like, I had a Monday. We, like, kind of, I don't know, drink on Friday or Monday. You pick a day, or you work, you know, it's all the same.
The upside is that, like, I could also, midday, just go ride my sub for, like, a half hour.
Yeah, that's your lunch, you know.
Because it's right here. Like, as soon as I walk out the door to my right, it's right there.
Yeah. That's like you with the refrigerator. I could easily go make a sandwich at any time, and I do.
Yeah, that's its own animal. Like, how many lunches did I eat today? I don't even know.
Like, how much of this huge thing of yogurt can I eat? I'll eat it all. And then I'm like, how many cheese sticks can I eat? I'm like, I'll eat them all. And they're like, a lot of food again. That's day one. I don't even know.
I have not been that bad about it, but I'm about as far away as I could possibly be in the house from the refrigerator.
Are you?
Yeah. Which is annoying from drinking purposes. Like, I want a water. But I'm spoiled at the office. My office is right next to the water. Like right next to our little kitchenette.
You got a little mini fridge, you know?
You know, I'm pretty pimped out down here, but I don't have a mini fridge yet.
Mini fridge will be the game changer. You know, put a little beer in there, maybe some cheese, maybe some water, maybe another mini fridge in the mini fridge. Just a thought.
There's, on the other side of this wall, I'd still have to walk around. Weird, your camera just resized itself. That was odd. Yeah. It's on my end, though. Anyway, right around the corner here, there's a pantry room, and there's room. Oh, it just went big again. Now it's just being a douche.
Yeah, it looks like I'm about out of juice, too.
Alright.
You have to redo this thing now a second time with everyone from Binghamton, and I'm expecting a call for that.
All right.
I'll help you make that happen.
I'm gonna see what we can do. So a classic Binghamton one, huh?
Everybody we can get involved. I want to hear all the aspects. Bring up all the weird Binghamton drama. Bring up Binghamton in general. We'll talk it through. We'll break it down.
All right. We'll see what we can do.
Yes.
I'm
We'll pull unlikely sources.
I will definitely reach out to you for that one. I'll text you. We can talk about it. But yeah, I mean, we could really do a part 2 on this one as well.
Let's do a part 2.
Because you know what we didn't talk about at all? Weston cycles.
Dodge the bullet. Just kidding. We can talk about it next time.
Yeah.
I can give you full details on its current progress and its past progress.
Yeah. Everything you've done with Weston cycles. Highlight probably being the Weston Cycles Jam.
Yeah. Or
Legends of Binghamton, right?
Yeah.
So
that jam, and then the Akron Jam.
I forgot about the Akron Jam. I went to the Akron Jam.
We'll save this for the next round.
All right.
We'll go draw something up. I'm gonna draw up some new fake park prototypes.
All right, cool. You should definitely do those multi-piece pedals. Again. The ones that as soon as you stood on them, they just crushed.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. My uncle was like, "Oh, those are cool. Put them on the bike and just do a 180." They're structurally, yeah.
They're very flawed.
They followed your arch and it was like...
Alright.
Alright.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for doing this one, James. We'll chat again soon.
Hit the like and subscribe.
Yeah, like, follow, subscribe, comment.
Yeah,
whatever. I don't know.
You probably want nobody to listen except Binghamton.
Yeah.
See you later.
Alright, later.